Greetings, comrades, and hello, everyone. I'm Quint866, and welcome to me talking about a game that's very nostalgic, but I hear nobody talk about. And no, it's not another Time Crisis video. I'm not that predictable. This game is another shooter, to be fair, but unlike Call of Duty, which in my opinion is kind of a repetitive and tedious game, I still think that shooters get a bit of forgotten games. Like, sure, you have the big, stupid, popular games that really don't deserve it, like Call of Duty, Battlefield, or Front, whatever. Or, what was it? Battlezone? I can't remember what it was. It was like Battlefield something. Anyways, the game I'm going to be talking about is one that I'm pretty sure a lot of people could kind of guess, but for those who have no idea what the game is, well, I don't blame you. I mean, it is a very forgotten game. Similar to Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb, while I said it was more underrated, looking back on it, the game was good back then, it just got forgotten. And a game I think that is forgotten now is Lost Planet. Now, I know a lot of people said Lost Planet was extremely cheesy, but that's not a reason to call this game garbage. I mean, I thought it was amazing as a kid. Now, before I go into showing you guys the gameplay and me playing through it and me reviewing it, I'm going to talk about what I experienced first before I even touched this game after like 3 years now. So what I remember about the game that was the main attraction was, well, compared to other shooters, was you had mech armors. I think they were called like VS's, They were like something suit, like a Virtua, no, because it was actually made of metal. I don't know, but I do remember quite a lot of the plot, though. However, if I can say anything that, okay, you guys can make fun of me for, I can never, for the love of God, remember the main character's name. I want to say it's like Wallace or Wade, or, I don't know, something like that, Wally? No, that would be way too weird. God, what is his name? I want to say it's Wade. W-A-D-E. It's something like that. Anyways, the main attraction of the game is the suits and the mass load of weapons at your disposal. Another thing that makes it really good is not only are you just fighting, you know, other guys in this big snowy universe, but, I mean, this game, I got it for a really good price of only $9.99 and pre-owned. And for a game I got at this price, which I thought would be kind of bad, I got a lot of satisfaction out of it. Now, to be frank, I never finished this game. It was way too hard for my 9-year-old self. But what I do remember was how awesome the first 7 or 9 missions were. Now, I know that's very little considering that I think there's maybe like 40 or 50 missions. But the first 7 missions kept my attention almost the entire time. And I didn't get that from a lot of games. Like, even though Mario is great and all the worlds look different, the whole 8 worlds, castle, tower, a bunch of other levels in between them, it gets a little repetitive and predictable. But here, this is where I started learning that this is good game design. Because not only do you play as a snow pirate named Wade, who's the main character, who's on the cover, but Wade isn't necessarily human. Now, I know he's human at the start of the game in the introduction mission. But, after that mission, he technically isn't human anymore. I mean, he's... How do I phrase it exactly? Okay, basically, Wade in the first mission was totally human. He had the, ability, to pilot the Vitality, virtual, what is the V stand for in VS? I swear. Well, anyways, he had the power to pilot the VS suits, which were kind of like, mech armors. They're kind of like the, armors that you could control. Kind of like the alien's power loader, kinda. but more protective and had more weapons than just 2 claws or pinchy things. Don't know what to call. Oh, clamps. Anyways, Wade and his father try to go and find this rare monster that has been terrorizing this one abandoned factory known as, like, the Blue Dome or something. I don't remember. It was something like... It was like this big, like, frozen over, cryogenically, like, frozen building that was like a big dome. It was like this, had this big glass dome on top that was frozen over, and it had, like, you know, this big mechanical, like, you know, crate section and whatnot. And naturally, since, you know, they're snow pirates, they want to get the bounty up for Green Eye, who's a huge insect Godzilla, spider, centipede thing. I'll get more into Green Eye later, but basically in the first mission, or introduction mission, I guess I should say, Wade and his father try to fight Green Eye, but to no avail, and must run. Wade's father gets killed, and Wade was left alive, but he was really sad about his father getting, you know, killed, and he got hurt during the battle, emotionally and physically, to the point that his arm slice. It couldn't be there. So instead of don't ask me why they cut it off. I mean, it might have been crippled or something, but I mean, that's not necessarily a reason to cut off a completely good arm from here. But here's the trick, though. This is used to an excellent gameplay mechanic. Because now Wade has a robot arm, or a cyborg arm. I don't know how to say it, but basically he's given an artificial limb. However, since his heart was also damaged during the fight with Green Eye, even though I really doubt that the heart and the hand are very, connected to each other. I mean, sure, nerves are obviously connected in blood vessels, but I mean, how could the, you know, injury go from just the hand and the heart? That'd be kind of a bit of a spread injury. But anyways, basically, Wade now can only live if he has enough heat in him. Meaning, if he gets too cold, he dead. So naturally, this is used in the game, that whenever you get too cold on this icy cold, lost extreme condition planet, if you see what I did there, lost extreme condition cold planet, ha 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 ha. Okay, that's way too close. Anyways, basically Wade now has to collect certain types of heat or stay out of cold areas so he doesn't die. And this is not just, you know, your health. You have a health bar and a thermometer, which will tell you how much you have to live. And if you run out of thermometer, you won't die instantly, but your health will begin to gradually be leached off of ya. Nonetheless, though, it's a good game mechanic because it's really creative. I mean, Lost Planet is a really good game. And I've only played this one, to be fair, because I can't seem to find any of the other ones. But anyways, Lost Planet then has you playing as Wade, and you join these rebels. One of them is named like Lucy, Larissa. I can't seem to remember any of these names except for the bad guys for some reason. I can remember Green Eye. I can remember, you know, the NevX soldier guys that were, you know, fighting you in the second mission, but I can't remember anyone else. Why can't I remember anyone else? Well, anyways, so then you go through the first 6 actual missions. And the introduction mission was a separate mission. You can't replay it. You go through mission 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, which were pretty easy in retrospect. I did die a couple times on mission 5 and 6, and on 7, I definitely didn't die, but I had a lot of close calls. However, mission 7 is where the crap starts getting really cool. Like, I mean, it was a pretty basic game when I got the hang of it, and to be fair, I was pretty much going to quit once I maybe got to the 10th mission or whatever, but the game was so good, not only to the point that, and this may not sound like it was good, but you'll see later on, I quit at the mission after mission 7. Not because I thought it was bad, or because it was too hard, or because I didn't like it, but because Here's why. I didn't want to play the rest of the game until I could truly understand it. Because not only was I just getting the grasp of shooters, I mean, I was only 9 years old when I played this. So, I mean, I wanted to save this for a better time. And let me tell you a bit about Mission 7. You go through the first 6 missions helping the rebels destroy some of the main bug villains, which are kind of similar to Green Eye, but smaller scale. I think they're called like arachnids, something off of arachnid. Anyways, you kill a bunch of those, you fight a couple of Nevek soldiers, you fight a mech armor in I think one chapter, and then you get to Mission 7, where you find a VS just laying out in the snow near kind of the middle of the mission. And to Wade's surprise, it's his father's VS. And I'm like, whoa, they actually managed to salvage that thing, or it just got knocked out of there conveniently? But then, when Larissa, God, what is her name? It was like Luca or something. I can't remember what it was. Then, she repairs the armor, and Wade decides after seeing this armor, he's going to take on Green Eye once more, and take back and give proper justice for his father. And when I heard this, I was like, yes! This is an excellent way to climax the game. I mean, even though it was Mission 7, and I probably should have known better, considering this was on the Xbox 360, I was so used to the 7 or 8 worlds in the Mario universes, and each mission I treated more as a world than a, level, because a lot of them were pretty dang long. Anyways, I'm like, oh my god, this game got awesome all of a sudden. Like, it was awesome before, yes, but this cranked it up so much. Like, seriously, I never would have expected, even though I kind of did suspect, but I mean, I didn't think this early in the game that they would make us go back and get proper justice on Green Eye for killing Wade's father. So they fix up the VS, or mech suit, or mech armor, and you go inside the blue dome, or ice dome, I can't remember the name of the factory exactly, and you figure out that the factory is really cold, even colder than you last saw it, to the point that you have to stay in the mech armor or else you die instantly. So basically, Green Eye has made the place quite more formidable. So then, you go and, jet through the hallways, pick up some weapons that were left behind. You then finally get to this big ring area, except the arena is like a donut, kind of, except with the hole being in the center. The center is a solid brick, and the rest of it is the road around. And then there's another ring around that's kind of like a wall. Best way I can describe it. Anyways, I see these crates conveniently stacked where I wouldn't have expected them to be stacked. And I said, oh, just a bunch of crates. What? I guess Green Eye must have left then. And considering I was a kid, I was very naive. But then, slam! Green Eye comes rushing through. And he roars and snarls in my face. And then Wade says, in probably an awesome line, "Are you ready, Dad?" As he gets ready to pull the trigger on his father's VS. Now, this was awesome as a kid. This was an awesome thing, because not only did I really thought this was the climax, but here's the truth, it wasn't the climax yet. So then, we go ahead and we fight the Green Eye, and he was pretty difficult, might I add. I mean, Green Eye took me at least 15 deaths before I finally beat him. I know it sounds pathetic, because he can be pretty easily beaten now, but you do have to consider I was 9 years old at this time, and this was technically one of my first shooters alongside Time Crisis. So you kind of got to cut me some slack, people. Anyways, we continue fighting Green Eye, and eventually we start, killing off all these, weak spots on him that were from the previous battle. They're like these little, blood clots or little blood orbs that are they're not really blood, but they're like thermal acid, kinda like the aliens. Anyways, we hit a bunch of those, and then finally, as I get all the ones on the side, I'm like, yes, I got him, yes. But then I realized, oh wait, his health bar isn't completely down, and then 4 more open on his forehead. I'm like, oh great. So I shoot those and say, now I good? Nope, all the four of those break again to reveal a bigger one. One final big green blobbing acid clot. And I shot that a bunch of times as I tried to evade his ferocious icicle attacks and charging at my VS suit, because he does a lot of damage even on easy mode. And I was playing this on easy mode, people, yet it was still hard. I know, I was 9 years old, blah blah freaking blah. And I finally defeat Green Eye. And then as Green Eye freezes up after having all of his thermal acid blood drained from him, he snarls one last time with his ferocious voice. And then, as his body's completely frozen, he shatters. And then, it's over. One awesome climax to a game that I thought was over. Now the keywords here are thought it was over, because it wasn't over. Now, Wade in his VS, after gasping for air, after rigorously and just totally using up his energy, piloting the VS, says, "We did it, Dad. We did it." And I was like, yes, this was an excellent finale to a game. I mean, it may have been a bit short, yes, but it was excellent. It was awesome. It kept my attention most of the time, and it really cranked up the awesome-o-meter. But then as soon as I saw this image flash through Wade's head, I said, what? And then I saw these soldiers from Nevek surrounding Wade's father, so crushed on the ground, without his VS though, because, you know, he obviously got the VS damage from the Green Eye, but he was able to get out of the VS and somehow try and escape. But then, however, a couple of Nevek soldiers surround him, and this one man says, "You truly were foolish to let us trick you." And of course, you know, the father, Wade's father, I can't remember his name exactly, says, "It was all a Nevek trap." And then this man with white hair and kind of like a creepy smile says, "You really were foolish. However, too bad you won't be able to let anyone else know." He snaps his fingers, and then all the soldiers surrounding him shoot and kill Wade's dad. And the man watches as they shoot him and just rapidly machine gun his body, even though it's already dead, and laughs. Whoever that guy was sadistic, and I still remember that name, Bandero. And yes, I know he isn't really the most intimidating of villains. I mean, his smile, while creepy, it kind of ruins his good villain originality. But then Bandero, after this flashback of seeing Bandero, we suddenly hear a familiar voice, and Bandero is right there watching us as we killed Green Eye. And then, of course, you know, Wade's like, "Bandero, you killed him! I'll set proper justice, Bandero!" And of course, Bandero's like, "Just you try it, kid." And he gets in this very, very different looking mech armor VS, and then he attacks us and actually breaks down and immobilizes the VS that Wade was in. Luca comes to save Wade on her jet bike at just the right time, but before they leave and escape, having to leave behind the father's VS since Bandero technically won in this case, Wade takes one last look at Bandero as they jet off. Bandero had a gauntlet on, one that was powered by thermal energy. So basically, not only did Bandero have the same exact gauntlet that made Wade, well, have the special, have to get enough heat, but now he was mind blown. And not only that, but even better, this left me hanging so much as a kid. I didn't want to continue it because I knew in the end I would have to do it in the future, and I wanted to kind of save it. And Bandero utters as he looks directly at the father's VS and says, "Sir, we got something interesting for you." And that was how I stopped playing Lost Planet, but here I am now, going right back to where I was. And I'm finally going to beat Bandero. I hope, if the difficulty doesn't whoop me again. Well, let's get on with it then, people. Without time to waste, let's haste.